school do you study?
I studied Meru International School.
Very nice. Okay. So, Venkat, congratulations, first of all. You have secured the eighth rank in India's Got Edge Stars annual competition. And that's very commendable. You've consistently submitted all the worksheets and you've participated in the quizzes and the competitions. So, congratulations for that.
Thank you, sir.
How does that make you feel?
I feel good, but not that overhyped because over excitement leads to some kind of bad luck. So I believe in that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So it's a good approach. So, but nonetheless, very many congratulations to you. You've been a consistent performer. Excuse me. You've been a consistent performer, and I believe you are also an avid reader. Uh, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. Okay, so let me begin this by introducing myself and also telling you the purpose of this conversation. So, my name is Rakshit. I'm a researcher at StudentEdge, and I'm involved in curation of the content of this newspaper and also in pedagogy research.
Okay.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
okay, sir.
So the purpose of this interview is to get to know you. Since you are a regular reader of Student Edge, we wanted to know what our regular readers read other than Student Edge, what they like, what are their hobbies. So it's a conversation to get to know you, and if you have any doubts about Student Edge, to clarify it.
Okay, sir.
Shall we move ahead with this conversation?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Surely.
So, how's the weather in Telangana, and how are you spending your summer vacation?
It is actually a bit more than what I expected. I thought it'd be somewhere like 40s, but it's above 40s now. It's about 44 to 45. But in the other side, there are also very heavy rains. Recently, a hailstorm occurred over here. So it's like a mix and match.
Okay, very nice. And how are you spending your summer vacations? Do you have school holidays right now?
I am mostly packed with my day. I just have 3 to 5 hours in order to play with my friends.
Okay.
So first thing I do Student Edge.
In the morning?
Anytime. Morning, night, evening or afternoon. So then I watch some movies even in Student Edge. They're actually fun.
Okay.
So then I read some foundation course books that my dad ordered for me because I like studying science and other subjects.
Okay.
And then I go play for some time.
Oh, which game do you play?
And then I have coaching from 5:30 to 7, about 1.5 hours. So that's it. My day goes like that.
Okay, so which game do you play?
I didn't understand the question, sir.
Which sports or game do you play daily? Badminton. Okay, and you mentioned that you also go for a coaching. Which coaching is it?
It's badminton coaching.
Okay, it's badminton coaching. Okay, very nice. So you are training for badminton as a sport as well.
Yes, sir.
And how far is this place from your house? Is it nearby? The coaching
It's
place?
nearby, less than 1 kilometer.
Okay, very nice. And other than badminton, what are your hobbies?
Before I used to go to taekwondo. I'm not much of an amateur over there, but karate, I've already secured yellow belt when I was too young, about 5 years. And then I feel like I wanted to join again, but there should be some people interested in order to do that, because if the coach should come, not only I should be there, but other friends and students should be there, right?
Yes.
So.
And what about reading as a hobby? You, I believe, are an avid reader. So what do you read? When do you read?
Sometimes I read some adventure books, but mostly I read about disciplinary books like self-discipline, self-learning, something like those books.
So which books have you recently read?
I have recently read a fiction book called Wings of Fire. Not the autobiography of Abdul Kalam, it's the other Wings of Fire fiction story.
Uh-huh.
It has a lot of series. I've just read the second season, the first part.
Mm-hmm.
It's about a lost continent. And the other thing, I'm now reading about the science of self-learning, self-discipline by Peter Hollins.
Mm-hmm.
He's actually a psychologist.
Okay.
He has 500,000 books sold.
Oh, wow. Very nice.
That's actually a very great achievement for a writer like him.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And the fact that you're reading it at such a young age, you're in class sixth, am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the fact that you're reading it at such a young age, you know about psychology as a discipline, is very commendable, and you should keep up the good work at reading that you're doing. So,
Thank
would you
you.
like to recommend a book or a magazine or anything to me that I could read?
The science of self-learning will be very good for you because you're a researcher and you can't. And I guess you're an avid learner. You
Uh-huh.
you read things, learn about them.
Yes. So the science of self-learning. Did you understand a lot of neurobiology that was mentioned in it, or is it does it have a lot of neurobiology, how the brain works, and
Yeah, they told about the prefrontal cortex and all those things.
okay, wow, very nice. And you must have had to study a bit of brain structure also in order to understand the book.
Yeah, that was actually easy because my dad already bought me some human body
Oh.
books of 6 books.
Uh-huh.
So there's a book dedicated to full of neuroscience.
Very nice, very nice. That's a very good way to study a book, Venkat. You read about a psychologist, you read his book, and thereafter you delved into the neuro psychology aspects of it. You studied the brain. So it's a very good way to study a book thoroughly and inside out and in depth. So very nice. When did you pick up your first book? You must have started reading very long time ago.
My first book was when I was about UKG, LKG.
Oh wow. Uh-huh. And that must have been a storybook.
Yes,
Yes.
that was actually true, but I just read about a short book about raptors.
Uh-huh.
They're ferocious predators, dinosaurs.
Uh-huh.
So I
Okay.
read about them.
Okay. Do you like to read about predators in general
Yes.
and about raptors also?
I read about science a lot, so anything related to science is my favorite.
Okay, very nice. So it's very good that you have a reading habit. Reading consistently and reading widely, extensively is very important for training your brain also.
Yeah,
So
that's
as
true.
you read and read and read, you retain a lot of stuff, and it increases your crystallized intelligence because you get exposure to a lot of stuff, and so that's very important. So how do your parents feel about the fact that you read a lot and you learn a lot regularly?
My parents actually feel proud and they tell me whenever I read stuff, I become a more successful person by the time I grow up. So they
Yes.
basically want me to be that.
Uh-huh. Very nice. And how about your friends? Do they also share your interest in reading, or are they a little more casual about reading?
They're a little more casual about reading. Most of my friends are younger than me.
Okay. Mhm. So these are your colony friends.
Yeah, my colleague friends.
Okay. And what about your school friends?
My school friends, they like reading a lot. We've actually put a classroom library where we can bring books and put them.
Uh-huh.
So
And
people could
it's
trade in books for some time and
okay.
read them.
Wow, very nice. That's a very good initiative. So it's a classroom library that you and your friends have set up with the help of your teacher or without the help of your teacher.
Without the help of my teacher.
Very nice. Very commendable. Very nice. So it works on the principle of exchange. You exchange books with someone and then you read it for, let's say, 10 to 15 days, and then you return it back to the person.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very nice. That's really good. That's a very nice initiative, and the fact that you've done it by yourself a group of students. It's really
Thank you,
very good,
sir.
very good, very commendable. If you could be a fictional character from one of the books that you've read, which fictional character would you choose and why?
I actually don't like more fiction books, but because nowadays I read like more like non-fiction books.
Okay, okay. So, any non-fiction, any author that you really like?
The, I don't usually read about the author's names. I just read the content and the preface and all those things.
Okay, okay, that's all right. So, what's the funniest thing that you've ever read, or the most interesting, if you can't recall a funny thing?
Funny things are not much. Interesting things, there are actually a lot. I can just tell one of them.
Maybe one or two.
So it was about how our brain works.
Okay.
It's actually very complex. More than billions of neurons inside our brain.
Mm-hmm.
In this much short brain, there are a lot of neurons. They're
Yes.
very, very tiny. They're like some electric pulses in them. That's
Mhm.
actually the magic of God and nature.
Yes, absolutely. It has, I believe, 100 billion neurons and 100 trillion synapses.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not sure about these exact precise numbers, but yes, it is a very, very complicated architecture, and the fact that it does everything related to our body is amazing.
Yeah.
And it,
About
yeah.
102 billion, I mean 122 billion neurons are there.
Yes, I think since you're interested in this aspect, I could recommend you a book by David Eagleman. David Eagleman has written about brain extensively, and his books have become very popular these days. So one of his books is, I think it's Live Wired. It's about the brain. The other one is the brain itself. It's called the brain.
The brain by,
Yes, David Eagleman.
yeah, it's actually a very good book.
Yeah, so he has written two or three books. So the first one, The Brain, is the introductory book, and thereafter he has written two more books. One of them is Live Wired, and then one more, I believe, which the name of which I can't recollect right now. So he's a very good author, and since you're interested about reading about brain, you can visit this when you have some free time.
Thank
So
you.
very nice. Do your parents read with you, or if you have doubts, do you get it clarified by your parents?
Of course, that's a true yes.
Okay, very nice. And when you finish reading something, do you discuss it with them? Do you narrate it to them?
Yeah, I do.
Mhm.
Once when I read a fiction book,
Okay.
I told it to my friend just in brief but not in detail,
Yes.
and that made my friend convince him to read it.
Very nice. You have a lot of younger friends in your colony. So, what advice would you give to them so that they also read and become like you?
I would first recommend reading some high vocabulary word books in
Mhm.
order to increase their vocabulary capability
Mhm.
and also increase their knowledge.
Okay. Yes. So you will advise them to read a lot. And if you had a magic wand and you could change something about the education system or change anything for that matter, what would you change?
I would like everyone to study, everyone to get books.
Very nice. That's a wonderful change that you would like to effect. So now shall we move on to some questions about Student Edge?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So like I said, you've consistently performed well. You've read all our articles and you've read it every month. Uh, so what was your motivation behind it? What inspired you to read regularly, consistently?
My habit for reading is that. So once my dad was working, he was just taking a break and searching things while he found Student Edge, and then he told to me. I felt like I wanted to join it, so I did it. And after just 2 to 3 months, I started getting in the leaderboard
Okay.
consistently.
Very nice. Very nice. So which is your favorite page? I assume it's science.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And any
science
other
and computers.
computers? And do you also like the geography page because we cover significant number of articles about the universe in on the geography page from time to time?
Yes, sir. Actually, when I grow up, I want to be an astronaut.
Okay, very nice. That's I would love to see you in a space suit very soon. Okay,
Thanks, sir.
good. And you do not have a fixed time for reading it, like you mentioned earlier. You read it whenever you find time to read it,
Yes, sir.
right? Yes. Okay. Has it helped you in any way? The Student Edge newspaper. What have you learned after reading it? While reading it, you've been reading it for a very, very long time now.
Yes,
So,
sir.
how has it helped you, or has it helped you?
There are actually a very few topics that are in my syllabus. Example, recently you posted about the cellulose digesting bacteria, right?
Hmm.
I thought there were just three of them, but there are actually more.
Yeah. Yes. Uh-huh. So you learned a new fact, or a misconception that you had was cleared because of Student Edge.
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, that's what I mean. When we learn, even science has a level of understanding, and it's always incremental. So some facts keep getting rejected as science progresses forward, and our learning keeps getting revisited and revised from time to time.
Yes, sir.
So that is why many a times I personally believe that books are not able to do justice to this because facts are very dynamic. They can change in a matter of weeks or months, and books are written almost every year, if not more, for more time than that. So books tend to have very solid crystallized information, but we need to update that information with the news that we read. So it is very important to read newspapers, whichever you read, but it's important to read them. So since you like science a lot, there are several online blogs and websites where you can read about science. For example, I think Science for Kids is one of these websites where you can go and visit and read about science developments in science.
Yes, sir.
Mm. Okay, very nice. Would you recommend it to your friends? You have already recommended it to some people, I'm guessing. Student Edge?
Yes, sir.
Uh-huh. Okay. And how strong would your recommendation be on a scale of 1 to 10?
Of course, it's 10.
That's very heartening to hear, Venkat. Thank you. And is there something that you believe we can improve in our newspaper? If you believe we can make a small change and the newspaper would become even better, please feel free to give us suggestions.
Okay, I have two suggestions.
Okay.
One is that if there was a bit more of high vocabulary, I guess it would be good. More of power words, more of things to learn in English.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because many people lack in English.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So mainly in English, they don't get 100 on 100.
Mm-hmm.
They won't even reach 90 like I did earlier.
Mm-hmm.
I just got 85 or 83 in 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting a lot this year.
Okay. And what is the second suggestion?
The second suggestion is that there's more of theoretical things like you need to think and then write. So if you can experiment something and write some questions like that, it'd be good. For example, if there was an article about protein, we could just ask a question like how to test protein and what results you got with the food sample you.
Mm-hmm. So you like more experimental questions where you're prompted to do some experiments and then write your test results.
Yes, sir. Mainly science is the most practical thing. It can't be understood theoretically properly.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yes, yes, yes. That's a very nice suggestion. Okay, we have noted it down, Venkat, and my team will reflect on it, and we'll definitely think about it. So, is there anything that you would like to ask me about the newspaper?
Uh, I need to think for some time.
Yeah, please feel free to think for some time.
Uh, Okay, I've recently noticed that for mainly books and movies,
Mhm.
there are fixed number of lines for the worksheet. The worksheet is sometimes very short, sometimes very lengthy, about 5 to 6 lines. For two of the books, there's the same limit of the worksheet. For example, 5 to 6 lines,
Mhm.
and for the movies, that 2 to 3 lines. May I know why is that so?
So we encourage very concisely written answers. So sometimes we notice that children, when they watch movies, they have a lot to say. But the art of expression is to very concisely express what you believe, what you think of something. So in movies, we tend to see that when children watch it, they write very very long answers, and we encourage concise answers. Therefore, we only give 2 to 3 sentences there, so that in that much space you're able to write what you write. The more concise your answer is, the better you are graded on your worksheets. So it should be your attempt to be very, very concise and still capture whatever has been asked.
Yes, sir. Thank
Yeah.
you, sir.
So that's true for almost all the questions, all the worksheets that we give. The more concise it is, the better. So there are few things that we put a premium on. First thing is that the answer should be written by the child himself or herself. So it should be your original thinking, because if you think originally, it helps you in the long run. The other thing is it should be extremely concise and precise. So the same thing can be said in 100 words, and the same thing can be brought down to 20 words. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it should be concise so that you learn the art of precise communication in written format. So these are the two things that we value a lot, which is why we try to give only 2 to 3 sentences so that children write very concise text. Of course, if you really feel that something extra needs to be added, you can always take an extra sheet and write your answer there and then upload that sheet with the worksheet name, of course.
Yes, sir. But many times that happens to me. I extend the lines.
Yes. So that, I mean, of course, sometimes it's possible, and even when you extend lines, you get a very good score because the answer is very good. But in general, the more concise the answer, the better it is graded.
Oh, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. And congratulations, Venkat, once again. You've done very well. You are a very dynamic person. You read a lot, you read about brain, and you're open to reading new books, you're reading advanced stuff. So keep reading, keep growing, and keep submitting the worksheets. We would love to hear from you again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.
Bye.